Well, good morning. Welcome. Glad to see everyone here today, and welcome to everyone joining us in virtual community. We're so delighted that you're with us. And as Jim said, please check in. We'd love to know where you are participating from. And our virtual ministry is just one of the ways that we share the science of mind teaching with the world. And did you enjoy Nancy last week? Yes, yes, I enjoyed her message very much. I had a chance to watch it. And as I said, had a wonderful time at the Centers for Spiritual Living International Convention and connecting with colleagues and friends and just being immersed in science of mind and CSL. And it was really kind of cool. And the hotel really treated us nicely. They had these giant screens, and everyone, not every one of them, but all of them around the conference said CSL and had photos of prior conferences and things. And it was really cool. People in the elevator would go, you're with the centers people, right? It's like, yeah, come on in and join us. We were in a casino too, by the way. So it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Anyway, excuse me. The science of mind is what we practice here. Yes. It was written by Ernest Holmes. And one of the core messages of the science of mind is our thoughts have power. Our thoughts have power. And the teaching is to become aware of this and then to learn how to think in a disciplined way. To learn how to think in a disciplined way. Once that happens, we can then begin to control or even change our thinking. And we know what happens then. Our life and our experiences change, right? So that's the teaching, and then the practice of the teaching and the way that it is beneficial and works for us. So this year in our center, we are on a path of self-discovery, and we're learning to design our lives instead of just living a life by default, a life by past experiences and habits and stories and all of those things. My message today is every experience begins in consciousness. That's a long title, isn't it? If you've seen our newsletter, though, you know that we're using one quote this month, all month long. It's a quote by Neville Goddard. And he says, nothing appears in your life that didn't first pass through consciousness. It's kind of the same thing as my title. And I really want to talk about that today because this is a great quote for contemplation. Nothing appears in your life that didn't first pass through consciousness. So how do we reconcile that in the world of effects around us today? 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago. There's always been stuff going on, hasn't there? There's always been turmoil. And there's turmoil today. As I was preparing for this message, as you know, Spirit drops breadcrumbs on my path every week about things to share with you, whether that's an experience or something I read or watch or whatever. And this week, there was an article that crossed my path, and it's titled, There's No Going Back, The Secret to Leading Through Chaos. Now, that doesn't sound like it goes with our talk at all, but I was intrigued, so I began reading it. And as I read, it was like, wow, this is an instruction manual for our design for living for our entire year. When we allow ourselves to get bumped around at the whims of chaos, we're living life by default, aren't we? We're living life by default. The quote that really got my attention, though, says, for leaders, organizations can live inside two futures, a predictable one that unfolds if nothing changes, and a desirable one that requires leadership. It's sort of like that Henley poem in Leviticus where he wrote, I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. We are all leaders of our own lives, are we not? We are all captains of our own souls. And we too can live inside two futures, one by default and the one that we desire. The really cool thing is we get to choose. We have the power to choose. Are we going to continue to allow life to happen to us, or are we going to choose to design our life and be disciplined enough to live it? Now, this article, of course, is directed towards business companies, the workplace, organizations. But really, how many of us have an organization, a committee, a corporate board in our heads that chatters all the time and runs our lives? Anybody but me? Yeah, we all got that. And those voices need leadership, don't they? They need somebody to be in control. I don't know if you've noticed, but they can argue both sides of an argument and just keep going and then change gears and go someplace else completely. And it's like, well, we need some leadership here. We need some leadership. So, how do we become aware of our thoughts when we have this committee that's hooked on the past, that's hooked on the old stories, that's hooked on the habits and the ways of being that we've always done, the ones that keep us stuck, the ones that keep us stuck? We have to begin to notice what is being reflected to us as the experiences of our lives. We listen. We begin to recognize the patterns. Gee, why does this always seem to happen to me? If you've ever had that thought, that's probably a pattern. That's probably a pattern. We recognize where the committee's creating drama for us. You know any drama queens? They have a lot of drama in their life all the time, everything. Yeah, that's the committee calling that stuff in. Two things can happen when we become aware of our thoughts. When we have an experience that feels like a threat. Now, remember, it can be mental or it can be physical. Our bodies don't know the difference, quite frankly. So if we feel like it's a threat, we may default into our way of being, our freeze, flight, fight, whatever that thing is, freeze, fight, or flight, and go right back into those old habitual patterns, those old ways of being, even the old stories. Or if that threat comes forward, we might begin to see openings, possibilities, perhaps, opportunity, moving ahead and beyond the negative experiences that this normally indicates that we can choose to see differently, choose to experience differently. Remember, we talked a few weeks ago that we've got that choice point between the stimulus, the experience, and the response. There's a choice. There's a choice. And when we make that choice in that teeny tiny little nanosecond space in between something happening and us responding to it, or reacting to it more likely, that's when we can move forward rather than falling back into those old habits, old stories, old ways of being, and we become disciplined. We become disciplined in our thinking. We become disciplined in our stories. Discipline is where we keep paying attention. We keep paying attention. We pay attention to what's happening inside our heads. What's the committee up to? What are they saying? Is it even true? We pay attention to what's being reflected back on the outside. What am I seeing in the mirror of my life? And we choose to change right there on the spot when something's not to our liking, when something's not right. We have to choose in the moment to make the change. Because that's breaking the old pattern, isn't it? Not doing the same thing we've always done. We have to break the pattern and do something different. That might look like talking to yourself. Anybody else talk to themselves? I talk to myself all the time. Yeah, see a lot of hands. Talk to myself all the time. I do. But it's speaking truth to myself when I've had a thought that I know is not right. And I have to talk myself off the ledge, out of it, back into center. Maybe it's an apology that needs to happen. Maybe we've made a mistake and we need to clean something up or apologize for it. Maybe it's reversing a decision. Maybe we've made a decision that we just don't need to dig into. We need to just turn around and make a new decision on it. Being willing to notice our reactions and take corrective action in the moment, to respond instead of reacting. That is like powerlifting in consciousness. You're building some serious spiritual muscle when you can have the discipline to do that in the moment. This is a discipline that it takes to change habits. We have to notice what it is. Is it a habit of thinking, a way of being? Or maybe it's a way that we respond. We always respond this way to something. Do you know those people who their first reaction is to holler, scream, fuss? We then have to consciously change it every single time you notice it. Every time. That's the discipline. Every time. Oh, I did it again. Okay, I got to fix that. I did it again. I got to fix that. And we continue to notice it until we don't notice it anymore. Because at that point, then you're in control. Then you're in control. You have control to direct your thoughts in the direction of your future and no longer live in fear, regret, unforgiveness. But how do we access that control, that power, when we need it? Are you up for a little exercise this morning? Okay. I want you to look around the room and notice everything you see in this room that's white. Just look around, turn around, look behind you, look in front of you, look all the way around the room, everything you see that's white. Got it? All right, now close your eyes. Close your eyes. You folks at home, you can do this in the room that you're in too. Close your eyes now. Now, think about and say out loud everything you saw that was red. Open your eyes. Now look around and see how much red you see. Do you see more red now? Because you're looking for it, right? We see what we're looking for. Did you notice that maybe some of those reds are maybe a little more burgundy or magenta colored, but you included them anyway because you want more rightness, have more data? This is called confirmation bias. Have you heard of that? Confirmation bias, where our brains are looking for proof of what we believe. And we all have it. Everybody has it. You ever bought a car? A special car, special car, right? Your car, your make, model, color. And you go out on the road and there it is everywhere. Everybody's driving that car now, aren't they? Well, your mind is confirming your good decision. You bought a good car. Everybody's buying it, so it's a good car, right? That's confirmation bias. What this all proves to us is that once we have an idea or a belief, we do everything in our power to keep reinforcing it, even if it's wrong or negative. We're trying to find evidence that we're right. It's sort of like our ego jumping up and down and saying, see, I told ya, told ya. Now we do this for our benefit or for our detriment. Consider when something negative happened. What was your first reaction when something negative happened? Was it guilt? Was it unworthiness? Was it self-criticism? If something negative happens and you that is confirmation of a belief that you hold about yourself. So when that happens, that's an opportunity to apply that discipline we were talking about to break that pattern and to heal that belief. It's one of the cues that we can use to help us to heal some of those things that we've been carrying along from the past. Noticing these types of things is the key to healing them. Now, the other side of confirmation bias is that we stop seeing evidence that doesn't fit our belief. Think about that. Think about that in our world today. Is this happening out there in the chaos of everything that's going on? That behavior doesn't support my belief, so you're wrong. Right? Are we no longer looking for win-win solutions to the problems of the world? Are we no longer curious about all of it? Is it happening in here? Is it happening within us also? Are we not looking for solutions in our life because it doesn't fit our beliefs about who we think we are? John Rawson said, ever since I learned about confirmation bias, I see it everywhere. And it is everywhere. Online, algorithms, mentioned them earlier. Algorithms, we've all been caught in them, right? Seems you think about something, you search for something, let's say baby kittens, you're flooded with baby kittens everywhere, right? Or tires, or a new laptop, or whatever it is that you may have touched a key about somewhere. Boom, it's all over your computer. The algorithms are programmed with confirmation bias. Oh, you like that? I'm going to reflect it back to you. You like that? I'm going to give it back to you. You like that? I'm going to give it back to you. And I think that's the message that Ernest Holmes was teaching us when he said, mind is a mirror. Mind is a mirror. As law, it can hold no image about us that we do not hold about ourselves. We cannot demonstrate peace while we are in confusion. The law is neither peace nor confusion. It's a mirror. Think of it like the algorithms, right? The algorithms just mirror back to us what we've told it. The law just mirrors back to us who we are, what we tell it. I think this also speaks volumes about the chaos that we see in the world. The law is neither peace nor confusion. It simply reacts to the consciousness projected onto it. And that, my friends, is where our work is. What are we projecting into the universal field of consciousness from us? Our work is to clean up our own consciousness. What are we projecting onto that pool? How do our ripples go out in that pool of consciousness? Are we putting in love and peace and prosperity and health and wholeness? Is that what we're seeing back? We need to become more aware of our feelings, our thoughts, and our words, like Nancy said last week. Really consciously put in what beliefs we do hold so that we have more of that reflected back to us. If it is true that all experience begins, exists, and only of consciousness, how do we reconcile the idea with the world of effects that we live in and experience every day? Kind of goes woo-woo on it. It's like, whoa, how do I do that? Rupert Spira, he's a scientist, he suggests that consciousness is like a movie screen. And I like that metaphor. He says, not the movie, but it's how we experience the movie. The screen can reflect a horror show or a love story. It's never impacted by the drama that's being played out. Consciousness is the ever-present observer within us. While our thoughts, our feelings, our experiences, our sensations, those are the movies. Those are the temporary that change. Just think back over your life and all the movies that you showed that have been reflected back to you through consciousness. When we become aware of this perspective, we begin to recognize this observer of experience within ourselves. Have you ever had that experience of feeling like you're observing yourself doing something? This can help us to become more aware of the movies that we're playing. Because consciousness is observing those movies with that observer within us. And when we can become more aware of those, we can select the actors, the scene, the plot, the score. Because we suddenly become the director, don't we? We become the director. Ultimately, we all want freedom. Everybody wants freedom, right? And everybody has their own definition of what freedom is. Are we free when we're prosperous? Are we free when we're in a loving relationship? Or are we free when we're experiencing health of mind, body? Perhaps it's success in business when we're free. Or maybe it's when your political party's in charge of everything, then you're free. Or maybe it's just simply being at peace. We all have a different definition of what freedom is throughout our lifetime, depending on what's perceived as lacking in our lives. However you find freedom, remember that freedom is every single soul on this planet's birthright. Every one of them. Every one of them. And for this reason, and because we all define it differently, and because we frequently disagree about what those definitions are, there's a higher power. We call it God, Spirit, Source. It's an infinite intelligence that is unconditional love, that loves us always, no matter what, no matter our foibles, our failures, our mistakes, our disagreements. It loves us. Your soul came here to experience this thing called life as only you can experience it. It's observing. It's observing you and your choices, your decisions, how you're living out your life. As Holmes said, we are bound because we are first free. In our unawareness, we have misused the law of mind. It accepts and creates out of our beliefs. The very power that binds you can free you if you reverse how you're using it. It's the same wind that can blow the ships against the rocks that can blow it safely into the harbor. It's not the gale, but the set of the sails that determines where we go. Our winds of chance need to become winds of certainty. Beautiful words from Holmes. This week, I invite you into spiritual practice to open the door to transformation through 3 affirmations. Use them daily to remember your spiritual magnificence and who you are, who you've come here to be. The first one is, my thoughts have power. The second is, my experiences are reflections of my beliefs. And the third, freedom is my soul's birthright. Will you say these with me? My thoughts have power. My experiences are reflections of my beliefs. Freedom is my soul's birthright. And so it is. Not every thought we have is creative, but every lingering thought that we attach emotions and feelings to, that's a prayer. That's a prayer. Or for you techies, you're feeding the algorithm. This week when you pray, pray for the good stuff. So only the good stuff comes back. So it is. Would you join me for prayer? In this quiet moment, I turn within. I gently let go of the noise, the chaos, the searching outside of myself. And I simply go within. And there I find God. I find that infinite presence, that one power, that one life, that infinite and unconditional love, that place within me that has never been hurt, never been harmed, that place of pureness, wholeness, the place of spirit within. And as I unify my consciousness with that source, that power, that presence, that love, I know that I am one in it and it is one in me, for there is no separation. The veil is raised and we're one. And as I know that for myself, I know that for each of us joined here this morning, gathered in the room, gathered online, and anyone listening later, for we know there is no separation. There is only oneness. And so from this place, I speak my word for and about each of us, accepting that our words have power, our thoughts have power, we have power to design and direct our lives. And I know that each of us is captains of our own soul, and that we adjust our sails in the direction of our dreams and allow those winds of spirit, the winds of love, the winds of opportunity, of prosperity and health and wholeness, of love to blow our ships into the life of our dreams. I know that as we gather here in this community, that each of us is blessed by our presence here, whether that's online electronically or whether that's physical presence right here. We know that this community is whole, perfect, and complete as a divine idea in the mind of God. It is a beacon in the world, in the city of Scottsdale, in the state of Arizona, for all who seek truth, all who seek a better design for their lives, a better outpicturing of life through them, more joy, more love, more happiness, more wholeness, more health. I accept, claim, and affirm that for each and every one of us gathered here today. And I speak blessings upon all faith traditions, knowing that all who gather in communities anywhere are blessed by their journeys, are blessed in their search for a deeper relationship with God. And how grateful I am for this teaching, the truth, our community, each and every beloved that participates in it. So grateful that I just released this into the action and activity of law, knowing that it's already done, it's already so. And we affirm this truth together by saying, and so it is.